watching what teachers do, yeah? If you need some chill out time and you want to entertain them, make sure you're hitting that up. All right, now,
That's it.
so talk to me. When were you happiest, in a relationship or when you were single?
It's hard to say one of the other, because I had great times when I wasn't in a relationship. So my previous relationship was ended in a disaster, and then I decided, right, I just need time for myself. I need to be able to develop myself, be happy again, just live life. And I kind of stopped the singing thing for a while. And this time was for me to kind of recoup what I was about and find myself in a way. So I spent about 2 years with nobody, just being myself, doing my thing, working hard, saving, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then my husband now, I already knew him, and it was a connection, but we kind of separated, and we didn't happen. So 2 years later, we reconnected, and then, I mean, to be honest with you, the rest is history, really, because we're married now. 10 years later, we're married, and we've been together 10 years. So I don't know. It's really hard to pick, because when I saw this question, I thought, actually, I had some wicked times when I was single, but I wouldn't have it any other way now.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, and remember, this isn't about what was the most fun. This was about happiest. Because you know what? If we're chasing fun, we're going to be running around for a long time. Do you see what I'm trying to say? But happiest, that's a place that some people never get to. Do you see what I'm trying to say? And that's why I chose that word specifically, because some people are happiest when they've just got themselves to focus on, to worry about, to build and to grow, right? Some people are really happy in that environment, right? Yes, now and then you might look over your shoulder and think, you know, a relationship would be nice, but they know ultimately this is where a lot of their happiness lies. But then you got others who are in a relationship, and of course they probably look at single people that a bit more freedom, and they can do what they want. Do you know what I mean? Don't have to say anything to anyone before they go out, right? But guess what? They're probably, you know, like doing that all the time by themselves, have no one worried about them, and they, you know, they feel lonely at times. So, you know, that's why I wanted it to kind of be a great happy versus a great single versus a great relationship.
Yeah.
You know, what would you, what do you say you prefer?
Well, I prefer now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I was going to compare my previous relationships, not to this one, because I would never compare it. There is no comparison. But what I mean is in terms of how I felt. So for me, it would be, maybe in the beginning I felt like I was super happy and all of that sort of stuff. But looking back, I think, not really, because I wasn't being true to myself. I wasn't being true to who I was. And I think that 2 year gap of being single and having nobody to think about or to prioritize or anything like that, I felt like that was the time for me to develop who I wanted to be, and also to find a person that would appreciate me and what my life is about. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but I know what I'm. And I mean, Adam, who's my husband, there's no.
And basically, you would take So basically, you're saying, obviously, I'm guessing based on your scenario, you would take a really amazing relationship over a really amazing single life.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
I dig that. I agree as well. I think with me, I was thinking about this as well, and I think I was happiest when my relationship was amazing. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Rather than when my single life was popping and I'm all over the place and I'm getting to travel and all of that. Like, I genuinely felt like my happiest space was in a relationship with somebody else. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Yeah. There's bad in both scenarios, but ultimately, when was I happiest and I felt like I was truly myself was when I was in a relationship with someone and it was firing on all cylinders. Like, that to me was what aim was. So even answering the question myself, that lets me know that I do want to be in a relationship. That's where the best version of Kojo lies in a relationship rather than the single life. But that's just me and you. All right, let's continue.
Because the thing, I was just going to quickly say, because the thing is, I've forgotten what I was going to say now, but
about relationships or about being in a relationship, is it gone?
Oh yeah, it's gone. It's gone.
Sorry, man, that's my
It's gone. But you know what? Thank you for letting me come on, because every night I do pop on and I listen and I see everyone chatting. It's such an amazing vibe. And I keep saying I'm going to come on and talk. I'm going to come on and talk. So thank you for having me. And I'm always here watching. And you know I've been following you from day one anyway. So
I love you like cook food, man. You're amazing.
You too. You too.
One day we're going to get you on to sing.
Please, yes, that'd be great.
All right, okay. Take care.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.
You too. Bye.
My old pal, Natasha Dare, Carver. Guys, that girl can sing, yo. Sang. You know, some people sing. She sings. Anyway, let's keep it moving, because I'm the one that chatting shit now. All right, let's keep it moving. Sure.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, that's me, Nika.
Minding my business last night. You found me.
Oh. I wanted my slow jams.
All right, talk to me. What are you saying? When were you happiest, in a relationship or being single?
100% in a relationship.
Okay, interesting. Break it down.
I'd say, all right, if I looked at one of my happiest times, it's just that feeling. It's like, okay, that's one thing sorted. Do you know what I mean? It's like one less thing. Because when you think about what you want your future to look like, my future always looks like I'm in a partnership or I'm in a unit. Do you know what I mean? So just that feeling that it's that partnership. And even like a previous partner where he had a child and we were all living together and it was a unit and it felt like a family. And I like that. We had a teamwork going. We'd plan our days. We'd say, okay, I'm going to be home late. Could you sort that out? Yeah, man, I'll sort that out. We just work together. And I'm like, that is just perfect. Do you know what I mean? That was great for me. Like, I think that's...
Why would you prefer that? Obviously, it's a nice, like you said, you've broken it down in terms of a family unit. Maybe, you know, you're not feeling like you're by yourself, because the world is tough if you go through it by yourself. We know that. And it's a little bit easier with the right person. But you know, why would you say that is better than great single moments?
Because you can have great single moments. Like I've had great single moments, and it's usually because I can get up and go without answering to anyone or without having to check with someone. You know, just not permission, but you know, you've always got to have some just out of respect. I'm going to be away for a week or 2 weeks or whatever. And whenever I can do that, I've got other friends who are maybe tied down in relationships, like, oh, I can't go or whatever. And I'm like, well, I'm going on holiday next week and I can go.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So I can get up and go. I don't have to, it's almost like a freedom, but I don't actually want to feel that free where there's no kind of commitment somewhere, or there's no one that I'm building with. I feel like that can be a lonely life. Do you know what I mean? Like you can have all the money in the world and...
Yeah, I think single's fun until you get to a certain age, and not like you get to a certain age and then you know, because of your age you're supposed to do X, Y, and Z. Yeah, but it's like school, isn't it? Like you get the comfortability of your teacher saying you got to do your homework. Yeah, you got to do this, you got to do that, and they're showing you that there's like a guideline there, isn't it? There's a perimeter that you can't go out of. Yeah, and as much as you're moaning in school, there's security within that. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
You know what? I know the rules. I know what time I'm supposed to get to school. I know I know what lessons I've got. I know all of these things. And then when you go uni and college, they just dash you out there, bro. Yeah? They just dash you out there. And you're like, I'm independent. I'm free.
Yeah, you've got to rely on yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you say, shit, I'm not used to this. All this freedom.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And no one checking up on me and no one making sure that I'm okay. And did I come in today? And all of that stuff. No one cares. It's like you come in or you don't come in. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So I totally hear what you're saying. What feeling do you think is bigger, or has been bigger in your situation? Yeah. So when you was in a relationship, when you looked at single people, yeah, what was that feeling like compared to when you were single and looking at people in a relationship? Like what desire was bigger for you?
think being single and seeing beautiful relationships, I'm just like, that must be nice. Do you know what I mean?
Why is that always the pose?
Oh, it's just nice. It's just nice. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, well, let me just go home to my pillow. Do you know what I mean? It's like that kind of thing. But then I feel like in a relationship, looking at single people just doing, you know, maybe going out, and I probably won't go out because I was out last week. Let me not go out this week. I should really stay in and spend some time. I don't feel bad for that. I like it. Like, I enjoy it. I don't feel like, oh, I wish I was single. I don't think I've ever felt like that in a relationship.
Do you feel like, I mean, I sometimes like when I'm in a relationship, I look at single life. When you're in a good relationship, you would look at single people like, right, you're still at uni, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you still got college. Wait, you still got college, blood. Like, really?
Yeah.
Have you graduated yet? Like that's how it feels. Like single life to a certain degree is like it's like you're supposed to graduate from it. You know, that's the pressure that I think society puts on us, that, you know, after a certain time,
it's probably hard to
you got to settle down, you got to move on, you got to do X, Y, Z, but life happens, you know, in all of this glory and all of this foolishness, life happens, and sometimes people have to come back to college, you get me, and study again and pass, you know, to get into another relationship. So yeah, I don't know how you feel about that, but okay, and would you say like now you're ready to kind of be in a relationship again, or are you still on time? Because I always say this: single people never say, you know what, let me get into a relationship for a little while to figure myself out. But relationship people think, you know, let me get single for a little while just to cleanse my spirit.
Yeah. It's that whole thing that I think has been a running theme. I think has come through these chats about you have like being whole before you get with somebody. So there's that whole healing. We're healing, yeah. So there's that whole healing phase, which I think is important. And I don't think I used to do that back in the day. I never used to take that time, that single time that's really important, and heal, become whole, and then move on. It was like, okay, I'm broken. Okay, he's nice. Move on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool back then. But like now I know. And I feel like it's always been a lesson. And I feel like I'm in a way better place. Do you know what I mean? Like even my last relationship, it wasn't a bad, like I don't regret it whatsoever. Like I have no regrets, to be fair. There's many lessons that have come from it, and it's just building me.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it.
The best is on the way, man. All right, cool. Well, thanks for coming on,
right.
Huh?
See you later.
All right, man, later. Woo! Yes, I'm going through these drinks a little bit too fast. See how I admit when I'm drinking? But you lot out here telling me I'm drunk. Or 9 o'clock, you lot telling me I'm drunk. I ain't drunk, but I'm getting there, and that's the plan. But we're not there yet. All right, let's get it.
Of course, you call me when I'm going down the stairs.
Oh man!
Of course, I knew you were gonna do it.
So we in rotation. Good evening.
Hey.
How you doing? You sound really low.
Okay, give me a second. Any better?
Yes. Let the people know where you is.
I am in Maryland.
Virginia. Is that Virginia?
No, that's Maryland. Like
okay,
Virginia. Yeah.
All right, cool. Sorry. Okay, I see you sipping on that wine.
And this is for Happiest.
Come on. There you go. That's my kind of people there. All right, talk to me, Michelle. When were you happiest? In a relationship, in a good relationship, or a good single moment, a good single life?
I would say single.
Interesting.
The reason why I say that is because I don't think I've been in really good relationships.
Like, I mean, I'm sure there were days when it was good, no?
I mean, days, but overall.
So there were days.
If I'm rating them, it was just.
You sound really low. You sound really, really low. I don't know if it's my phone.
I don't know.
Okay, now you're good.
Okay, it's probably, I mean, overall, they were bad. There were good days. But single life, I mean, for example, quarantine. I don't have to worry about cooking for anybody else but me. If I don't want to shower, I don't have to.
Oh my God.
I have the discretion to do what I need to do.
without worrying about somebody else. But ultimately, I do want to be married. But, it's just not my time.
Okay, but so why would you say single life has been great outside of quarantine? Because this ain't a situation that we saw coming. Yeah, we're reacting to this bullshit. But in terms of like everyday life, what is it that you feel like consistently you've had a better single life than maybe a dating life or a relationship life?
I think I like Shar said, the freedom to come and go as you please, not having to check with someone. Not saying that I'm against it, but it's the freedom to just do what you have to do. Like, very demanding job. So I don't have to, explain anything to anybody. I just can react and go. But
you know what I say? I think when your current situation isn't what you want to end up in, you've got to kind of be wary of becoming too comfortable in that. And the reason why I say that is because I remember, like, for me to really be in a relationship, I had to, it's weird, like I started dating someone who for like 6 months, but that prepared me to be in a proper relationship. And the reason why is because I was single for like 5 years, right? And I'm in my rhythm, in no explanation, to get up and go. I ain't got to tell no one nothing that I'm doing, just in and out, blah, 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 blah. And I got so comfortable doing that, that the thought of having to explain myself, having to time check, having to make these extra calls and all the other stuff was not something that I didn't want to do, but it just became very, it felt like a nuisance, It felt like I was being slowed down. But so in that situation, the fact that you said that, a relationship is what you'd rather be in, it's okay to enjoy the single life, but if you enjoy it too much, you become harder to date. And then you become, you know what I mean? And you know what? Dating changes.
I get comfortable in my ways. So, like, I have my own home, and I want to, again, get married. But I know that if I get in a relationship, like, I can never have my husband move in here. And that's just me. Like, we'd have to go get a home together.
Or he may have a home himself.
Right, he could.
So why can't he live there? Why can't he live there?
I got this by myself as a single woman. So I feel like when I get married, it should take me a step up. That's my opinion.
So when you say a step up, as in like a bigger house, something better than what you have, like
bigger, but it should give me other opportunities to get bigger if I wanted to get bigger.
Yeah, but you could be with the next millionaire who's on his way.
Good. I'm waiting for him. I'm waiting for my king.
You know what though? I totally agree with you, man. I don't move into no woman's house. I did that one time, and it was the worst thing ever. When you live with a woman, oh my God, you have to have a fuck you bag packed every day. Every day, man, guys, you live in a woman's house. Oh my God. You have to tiptoe around eggshells.
I couldn't live in his house either. Like,
no, see, but guys ain't like that. We will cuss you out, right? But we ain't gonna say, we will not kick you out at 3 in the morning. Your ass gonna call us an Uber talking about, you better get out of my house and take your shit.
Look, this new generation, dudes will put you out too. I'm just saying.
Wow.
Just saying.
Okay. We need to find them and make them extinct, because I don't know dudes that behave like that. That's crazy. All right, Michelle. Well, listen, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right.
All right. Take care. Bye. Oh my God, guys. Living in a woman's house? Fine. Sheesh. Whole time free in the cup. Listen, living in a woman's house. Man, talk to me. That is a whole nother debate by itself. We'll save that for another time. What? I could not do that ever again. I stayed in my ex's house for a week, bro. A week. And I had to have a bag packed every night just because she would start an argument just so that she can tell you to get out of the house. Mud. All right. Ace Kid in the building. What's going on? All right, hey. Ladies and gentlemen. Queen Rachel is in the building. We about to get a verse, ladies and gentlemen. We about to get some words, ladies.
can't deal with you, Kojo. I can't.
All right, what are you saying? Talk to me. I know this is going to be interesting. Yeah? When were you happiest, in a relationship or when you were single, or when, being single?
Being single, because I've been single for 7 years. So this has been my happiest moment for me. I think that's because I've learned who I am and I like the woman that I'm becoming, and I enjoy me. So for me, the happiest moments is me. And I think in relation to your question, it depends on what you define happy as, because I think there's different versions of it.
Yeah, but happiness is down to individual.
It's individual. Yeah. But I feel like there's been moments when I've dated people and I've been happy. Yeah. But then there's a different version of happy when I'm myself and I've achieved different goals and I've done things that make me happy. Like,
okay, now tap into that. Why is there different? Like, why is there different highs? Like, and ultimately, what is the better high then?
Because the different versions for me bring different things out of me. So when I've achieved something on my own, for instance, I went on a solo trip to Bali for my 30th birthday. That was one of the happiest times of my life because I did that for myself and I got to learn a different side of me that I hadn't experienced before. But then I've been in situations where I've been on a date with a guy and it's been an amazing time, and that was a different version of happy. So I think it depends on what your ultimate definition is. And I think that there isn't just one. There's different ways of versions of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the question is kind of self-explanatory to a certain degree. I feel like when I want people to come on, I want them to tell me about their happiness, not the happiness of the world or what society tells you looks like happiness. Mm-hmm. That's why the question is, I don't expect everybody to say in a relationship or single. I expect people to have their own damn experiences and kind of be like, you know what, this is when I smiled the most. Because ultimately, the whole point of this question is to really ask yourself, if this is when you felt happiest, it doesn't mean that you can't find happiness in the other, but you got to make sure that it makes you feel as good as whatever you choose. Does that make any sense?
Yes, I agree. But then I also have to think about, because I know a lot of people say they feel happiest in a relationship. I question, why can't you get that when you're single as well? Because there's some people that would only strive to be in relationships because of the feeling it gives them, not because they necessarily need to be in one or want to be in one. It's a thing of they're searching for their happiness in someone else. And that's when I think it becomes a bit dangerous, because if you're relying on someone else to make you happy, that's when you've got to reel back and look at yourself.
I know, but I think you've got to be very delicate in terms of, I get the premise of what you're saying, but I think you cannot. I mean, you cannot have a child by yourself. You can't. And if you're somebody who wants a child, then you have to be with somebody. So for example, I could still be happy within myself, but I know I need a partner to create a family in terms of my own flesh and blood child. Yeah. So in that aspect, then I'm going to have to share, I'm going to have to need someone else to be with, rather than I need them because, I can't do nothing by myself. You see what I'm trying to say?
But that's different because it depends on personal goals. For me, myself, I don't want to have children. So that's something that I will require in my future. I think it just depends on what your goal is and what your future looks like and what you want it to be overall. And I think for some people, there's this negativity that comes with being single, as if to say that it can't be a happy time. And I hate hearing that, because there's a lot of women who feel like when you're single, it automatically means you're lonely. And I said this before, there's a difference between being lonely and being alone. And I think sometimes there's some women who are so scared of being alone that they run into relationships looking for that happiness and not understanding what their real happiness from themselves is, if that makes sense. So they're craving it in someone. That's what I mean. They're craving it in someone else, but don't actually know what that feels like to just be in their own skin being happy. And that's when I think it becomes a bit problematic.
Absolutely, I agree. But I also think as well that, it's funny that you say that, and I'm a man, so I can only go by the energy and, things that I hear, like, I think there's a lot of people scared of being in relationships.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's easier to go through life just focusing on yourself. So yes, single life might be lonely and all the obvious things, but like there's a consistency, I guess, with being single, because again, you just got yourself to deal with. Going into a relationship, you have to alter a lot. You have to sacrifice. You have to, you know, give up a little bit of what you like when you're, you know, out here free doing your own thing for something a bit more routine. All of those things. And then I feel like a lot of women nowadays are looking at relationships like, you know, they're looking at the people who are around them who have relationships. And, you know, 9 times out of 10, you know, that phone call ain't about how amazing my man is. It's probably about, you know, he wound me up and he's pissed me off and do you know what I mean? And they're chatting to somebody who, do you know what I mean? So I feel like from the conversations that I often hear that a lot of women are now thinking like, you know, my default thing is I always feel like relationships are things that women have always wanted to be in and guys have always wanted to be in, yeah? And then you've got individuals that don't want certain things and, you know, everyone's got their own little brackets now and it's fine. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's 50-50. I agree with you that, you know, probably a lot more people are afraid of being alone, yeah? And like you said, and then, you know, and single than lonely. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So,
and I think also in today's age, especially with the younger generation, and it relates to what a girl that came on here yesterday who was 24, there is this ideal and image that's now being portrayed with these relationship goals and bae goals and all these things, where it makes relationships look so perfect. And people are craving that more so than happiness. They want their relationship to look like that, and they think that's what happiness means. So when their relationship doesn't look like that, they get into a problematic stage of, oh my gosh, am I ever going to be happy because my relationship doesn't look like it looks like on the gram. He doesn't treat me how she treats me, how her relationship is. So people feed into that, and that's why I said it has to be about your own version of what happiness means to you.
And also they accept bullshit because of things like Love and Hip Hop and the Kardashians and they accept all that because they think, well, that's normal. You see what I'm trying to say? That's what normally happens in a relationship. He hits me or whatever, and well, that person accepted it. So why can't I? And again, I agree with you. That narrative is forcing people into this false pretense of what a relationship is and what it's supposed to be. And a relationship is supposed to be whatever makes you happy.
What makes you and that person happy.
Yeah, of course, because
you guys, I think you have to come to an understanding of what that looks like for you too as well, because people have ideals in their head of what relationships are supposed to be. They meet somebody, but their version of what a relationship can be completely different to what yours is, but you two connect on a different level because of chemistry or whatever it is. You have things in common, but there's not really a conversation that gets had of what a relationship looks like to each other, so then you know how to do this relationship together. And that's where the communication comes in. But back to the question, I feel like there's nothing wrong with being single. If you feel like you want to be like that, for myself, I'm testament, it worked. I'm not lonely, I'm cool, I'm good. I just feel like sometimes there is this negative narrative that women that are single, they are washed up or nobody wants them, and there's no choice in the matter, and that for a lot of people there is choice. I would rather be by myself than be in a relationship that makes no sense to me. It's for what? I can do battle by myself. Like for what? It makes no sense to me. So
what does a relationship look like to you now, in the sense of, if you was to get in one, what today would be the reasons why you wanted to get into a relationship, and what would that look like?
For me, it would have to be somebody that understands what I'm trying to achieve, and then I have to understand what they're trying to achieve. Like I said before, I'm quite ambitious. I work for myself. I do a lot of got businesses like for myself and stuff like that. I need somebody who understands how I move and what I'm trying to achieve, but also gives me the space to be myself. I've met guys that are quite intimidated by me because of the way that I move and I work, and I've learned that they're not the people for me. But I need somebody that understands that what I've built for myself has made me the woman I am, and that is important to me. So you can't try and come into this space and change it, because that's going to be what it is. That is one of the building blocks of what this is. But also me as a woman, I'm open to being loving and being caring. I have amazing qualities and values as a woman. And I've said before, and people laugh at me, but as much as I want to be happy to say that's my man, he has to be valuable enough to say that I'm his woman. Because you don't just get to say that you're Rachel's partner. There's a lot that comes with that. So it has to be equal grounds in that as well. It can't just be like, oh, Rachel's my girlfriend and that's it. Like, no, you have to know what comes with that. So it's got to be an understanding between the two, and just make sure there's value in it. But I also believe in that And I know it's something you don't believe in, that when you're in a relationship, you're still two independent people living life and you've come together. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Well, guys, her DMs are open right now.
They're not. They're not. Don't encourage the foolishness, please.
He's amazing. He's amazing.
Don't.
All right, babe. Thanks for coming on. See you later.
Bye.
Oh, shit. That was the alcohol talking, Rach. I'm sorry. Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it. Everyone else sends a request, but Asia, you want me to hit you up. You better send me a request. That's like you want Chris Tarrant to call you to play You Want to Be a Millionaire. Okay.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen. Mark, ladies and gentlemen.
I can't clap because I'm holding the phone.
How are you, fella?
I'm all right. How are you? How's lockdown?
It's still fucking locked in it, mate. You know what I mean?
You're on safari again today.
Huh?
You're on safari again today, looking at the balconies.
Oh, yeah, I know, bro. I started it, but I couldn't bother after a while because everyone started going in. But anyway, talk to me. What are you saying about this whole debate?
So I think so far you've had relationship, single. So yes, it's 2-2 at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know the answer to my question. I know the answer to me because I was told. So basically, yeah. Because I was told. So basically, we're going back about 7 years ago now. The love of my life left me, so I went to see a counsellor for a little bit to just talk about, why I'm this age and why I'm single and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And we came to the bottom of it. It was that I am better off and happier when I'm single. And it stemmed back for ages ago. Like, for example, when I was young, I was in my early 20s, I went traveling the world with 3 other mates, right? So we're traveling the world, there's 4 of us, 3 months into it, and all 3 of them have run out of money and they all go home. They are my good mates. I carry on my own. I have the time of my life, right? I have the best on my own, going around the world, like Thailand for 2 months, Australia for 6 months. I did it all on my own. And it sort of stemmed from there. And do you know what? Everything I do, I've done. Well, I'll give you a background. In my 20s, I was mainly single. In my 30s, I was mainly taken in relationships. And in my 40s, I've been single. All right. And I travel a lot for work. You might relate to being an entertainer, and trying.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Trying to find someone to settle down is bloody hard.
Yeah.
Last year I did 47 flights. About 35 countries. So basically, all the things that have made me happy in life, in terms of, if I put a collage up of my favorite 20 photos, it's like when a good friend of mine wins the world championship boxing, when my football team go to the FA Cup final, when I go to Vegas with my mates for his birthday, when I go to my friend's stag do in, it's not a party drinking. I'm not a big drinker. It's not a party being single life, going after lots of girls. But it's then when you're in a relationship, the diary is now full of, we're going to her parents for dinner on Sunday, we're going to her friend's wedding on Saturday, we're doing this, right? Yeah. So I'll go, I'll be supportive. Yeah? But if you give me going to her friend's wedding against going to watch Mayweather live in Vegas with my friends, I'm happier seeing Mayweather live.
Yeah, going to do that.
So, also,
but is that because you haven't found someone to change that yet? Because look, Mark, I know you know you, yeah. So, and I feel like we're quite similar. I feel like we can be emotional men, yeah. Like I think we're caring guys, and I feel like a good night with someone amazing trumps going to Vegas with the lads for the fight.
No, true.
Think about it. Like when you got your ideal, yeah. Guys, when a guy has his ideal, man, like, oh my days, like, do you know what? Shit, she's coming Vegas with us. Like, it's not even it's a no-brainer. Do you know what I mean? It's when you don't have your ideal and you're like, look, I'm going with the guys for 10 months, all right? We'll be back in a minute. But you know what I mean? So, I know the kind of guy that you are, and I think I think those answers to a certain degree is based on what's happened so far.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I know the kind of guy that you are. I feel like if you found an amazing woman that you was infatuated with, and you know, she gave you that goosebumps and then that energy, I feel like you'd rather chill out with her. I would.
Well, yeah, because you see, I've also changed, because like in my 30s, when I'm in entertainment as well, we take everything we can work-wise, right? We go to the opening of an envelope,
of course,
right? Yeah, and so when I was sort of single in my 30s, and then suddenly go into a relationship, the first thing that dipped was work went down, and money went down, because I'm spending more time with the girlfriend. This isn't a money thing. Money's not about happiness at all. But then when I'm suddenly single again, work goes through the roof, money goes through the roof, right? And so I'm taking everything again. Do you know what I mean? But then in my 30s, I know I wasn't around a lot for a partner, okay? And then so I had this little chat, and I was told you're always happy when you're single. You're happy when you're single. Okay, so I changed. So from now, the last 2-3 years, I meet people. I'm not going to let work ever get in the way of that again, or travel get in the way of that again. So now I've set myself up to, like, even the last girl I met, she couldn't move away from where she was. She was like 200 miles away from me. So I say, I'm self-employed. I can live anywhere.
Yeah.
So don't give me the distance thing, because I can come and move to your area like that, right? Then they go, oh, he's really keen, and you know, and it's sort of like it works against me.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here now, like, ready to date, would love to date, love to have a partner, but and I will give up work, especially this whatever's in the diary comes first, right? So, for example, right now I should be at Malta. Yeah. Next week I should be at the Monaco Grand Prix. The week after I should be in the south of Spain. But that's all cancelled now.
Yeah.
So with lockdown, my diary is empty. So with this, whatever's in the diary comes first. If I meet someone now, there's nothing in my diary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a perfect time to meet someone now, or plan even next year. Things are
because
like,
you know, it's giving you perspective this season as well, hasn't it?
Yeah.
In terms of like, how often do I have to go and do work and do all of those things? You know what I mean? And there's still, I guess, an experiences that you still want to have with somebody. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because like you said, going around the world on your own is amazing, but if you've got someone that's just like perfect, bro.
Yeah.
That's even better.
Yeah. Well, like I say, the last girl I dated, I sat there and said, any reason she gives me she can't date me unless she doesn't like me, is that I'll move there, I'll do that, I'll cancel that, I'll see you there. And I was willing to give everything. But then they still go, she went to her friends, oh, he's very keen, he's talking about moving up near me. I'm like, no, I didn't. I said I would do that in the future, not now. But no, it's a really weird one. But if I was to think about, my happiest times, they were being single. I've had some great holidays with ex-girls. Yeah. I've had some great times, some great moments, and all that sort of thing. But if I was to list my top 20 happiest moments of my life, you know,
they were when you're single. Yeah,
doesn't really involve any ex-girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
Weird, isn't it? It's weird. It's bad. But if I sat here now, married, and my wife was upstairs getting, doing her hair, or whatever, I'll be sitting, oh yeah, married life's the best. Married life's the best. What I mean. But then I've not got any kids either. Not been married, not getting kids. So I haven't got really, that experience. So, but longest time I've ever lived with anybody has been about 4 years. So I've had that experience. But no, I would say for me, I've just pushed it up now to 3-2 single.
3-2 single.
3-2 to the single people.
All right, Mark. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Take care, man. See you later.
You, man. Peace.
Bye.
Oh, mate. He's the best, man. He's one of the most amazing people that I met last year. Like, genuinely, man. And his mum and dad are so some of the sweetest people ever. Like, and they're like him. They travel around. They do cruises a lot, and they just travel around the world, man. That's what I want to do. You just want to get older and just see the world, man. When your kids are growing up, you know what I mean? Just go and see the world. That's what you want. You want to be with someone that you just, you know what I mean? Because, like I said, we're going to be old for a long time, people. You know what I mean? You got to get someone that you can just see the world with, man. All right, let's go. Ace Kid, I'm coming to you next. Hey, she's back.
Hey. In fact, let me get up and dance.
We are saying thank you, Jesus. Hey, thank you, my Lord. Hey, Joe. What's going on?
Oh, nothing.
We missed you, man. We missed you. 2 days probably you ain't been on.
No, I was on yesterday. What are you talking about?
You weren't on yesterday.
I was on.
No, I did on here. On here.
Yeah, you did not. Oh, yeah. And when is
your replacement, Kemi, took over.
You know you're the Oga, so if you don't put me on, I can't. You know, you're the Oga now. So if you don't press my button, I can't come on. I can only come on when you press my button.
How are you, Asia?
I'm good.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Where's your son?
He's sleeping.
Hey,
with his dad.
He's sleeping.
Yeah.
He sleeps. Wow.
He's sleeping.
Wow.
He's sleeping.
All right, so talk to me. What are you saying, man?
Listen, I've said this before. I'm going to say it again because people think it's a joke.
Quarantine.
No dating during quarantine. Mark is coming on here saying, no, I'm not busy much now. Of course, you're not busy. You're not supposed to be busy. No dating, Mark. I like Mark, though. I've got a couple of sisters that might like him. So I think I'm gonna, but no dating after quarantine, Mark, not before.
I want to see him at a traditional wedding. You understand what I'm trying to say? Yeah.
I'm telling you, he needs a sister. He needs a sister. Really?
Magic, yeah? So, he'll scare them auntie and uncles away,
Oh, magic like magic.
No, Magic Mark, not Magic Mike.
Yeah, no magic.
Oh, God. I'm dying. Oh, shit.
Okay. All right. So, a couple of things I need to clear up because you've had a lot of single people on talking about.
We had one person. Natasha's in a relationship. She's married. Who was after Natasha?
Yeah. So I think it's more the comments as well.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
As well. So basically, okay. So first of all, for me, it's definitely in a relationship. But you see, when you're married, then it's what you're looking at single. So the single I'm looking at is single in a relationship but not married, and then married. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So once you're married, when you think about your single life, that includes whether you were with somebody or whether you were by yourself. It's kind of in the same pod. The reason why I would say I'm my happiest being married, and I think a lot of single people who have not maybe been in a long-term relationship for a while, or they've not been married for a while, they often think, people say things like, people talk like you can't be happy when you're single. No, I'm not coming from that point. I was single most of my adult life, whether single with somebody or single by myself. I got married when I was 42. Do you see what I mean? So so I'm coming from a place where I understand the single side of things. But when you're married, and you've made a couple of great points, but when you're married, you've got to understand that there's some, I love the fact, the things that make me happy about being married is I love the fact that somebody's responsible for me. I'm responsible for somebody. Do you see what I mean? Is that accountability? I like the fact that I can say to my husband, we're not doing that. Or they're not coming around. And I know he'll stand. I know it won't happen. Because he has to consider how I feel.
Yeah.
Because there's a legal requirement for him to do that as well. So I like that. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I very much feel like I'm also happy because I feel like I'm in a relationship where I can still be me. I can do the things. I mean, I'm coming on here every night talking and this and that. Sometimes my husband pops his head in and he's looking like, who's that man she's always talking to? Especially when I'm on talking like this. Do you understand what I mean?
He'll come and I'll be like this.
Oh, he's on the. I was gonna see if he's there, but he's doing something. Yeah. So do you understand what I mean? And he's doing his own thing. He's completely doing his own thing. I'm doing my own thing. So I love that. The thing about when you're single is that it's exactly just that. You're single. You're just, it's. I mean, you make a distinct difference between when you're single, when you're happy. And that's why I think I like the question. You talked about happiness. So we're not talking about fun. We're talking about happiness. Yeah. Because we can all relive, I remember when I was single, I'm going to Ibiza.
Exactly.
And when you were having fun. We're not talking about that. We're talking about happiness.
Because you can have fun and not be happy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. In fact, sometimes fun is a distraction.
Yeah. It's most of the time it is, yeah.
It's, and everything. And I think, but I feel like when you're single and all you've known is single, you can't speak about what it's like to be happy in a relationship, especially in a committed relationship such as marriage. Do you understand what I mean? Because you can only speak from a certain point. And also, when you've been in a relationship when you've been single for a long time, okay? And I'm saying this because I'm talking from experience. When you've been in a relationship, single for a long time, what tends to happen is you know where your happy moments are. You know where your happy spots are. You know how to manage your lonely periods. You get used to your own company, and that can be dangerous.
That's what I'm
sometimes.
saying. Yeah,
that can be very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
So I would say, so there was a girl that was on, I think it was yesterday she was on, and it touched me when she said, oh, she's scared to kind of get in a relationship.
24-year-old,
yeah. And I'm thinking, at that age, you're only 24. Scared of what? My friend, you better jump in with both feet and head and everything and go and enjoy yourself. You get hurt, yes, but you pick yourself up, and carry on, So I was just thinking to myself, you're too young to be scared of this kind of thing.
It's scary that a 24-year-old is dating defensively.
Yes.
At 24.
Yes.
Wow.
That I was like, hey.
Oh, wow.
I that shocked me, and I was like, because by the time she goes through that healing process and goes through that, by the time she might find herself like 5 years has gone by. She's now in her 30. So the idea she has in her head, it's just kind of like of how things should be. It's completely different to how it really, really is. And you're not allowing yourself to really fully enjoy what is there. Do you see what I mean?
And also, like, if you go through life not knowing what fucked up people feel like, that's dangerous.
Yes.
Because when you meet them, when you've actually got something to lose, you can lose everything.
Yes, absolutely.
You won't have any experience of how to come back.
Yeah.
And when you're younger, you've got a bit more time.
Yeah.
When you're older, it hurts more.
Tell me, my brother.
It hurts so much more. So I always say to people, man, part of the process is failure. Part of success is not winning.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
And getting hurt. Yeah, and getting hurt. And it's that thing of you just want to make sure you don't want to. I'm not saying don't guard your heart. Guard your heart by all means.
Yeah, but by default, you're gonna do that.
Yeah, I'm not saying don't guard your heart, but you've got to really allow yourself to, because the pain, everyone knows that the pain and stuff that you exactly.
You got to test your heart. How do you know how strong your heart is if every day's a happy day and everyone in your life is just singing your praises?
Listen, I went through a bad relationship emotionally, so bad that, listen, I literally had to sit down with my Bible and God. Because it was I'm telling you, Coach, I couldn't talk to anyone about it. It was one of those ones that
who the hell will make you upset?
Can you imagine?
What kind of human being is this?
In fact, can you imagine? I wish he's on. Is he online? He probably is not online. He's probably sleeping or something. But do you understand what I'm trying to say?
No, absolutely.
And it was one of those things where you deal with it and you kind of go through it. But one of the things I think, and I'm not knocking what anyone's saying, but I just think be very mindful. Okay. And let's understand this, ladies and gents. I'm a lady of a certain age, I'm 45 this year. So I'm talking, I got married late in my 40s. So I'm talking from somewhere, when I say, when you talk about, okay, I need to work on myself. You know, I'm single and I'll be single and all that kind of stuff. After a while, exactly. And before you know it, age will creep up on you.
They're not doing the work, but that's I always say, Asia.
Pause. Somebody said I look good. Thank you. Okay,
listen, the most scariest people to me are people who say the right thing.
Yeah.
They're dangerous to me.
Yeah.
People who say the right thing.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're sitting in that comfortable.
Yeah.
Just because you said the right thing, you know what you got to do? You got to do the work.
Yeah.
You got to do the work.
Yeah.
The work is you. You got to work on yourself. You can't say I'm just taking time out because you know you're not using that time to do nothing. You know you ain't.
Exactly. And what does that mean when you say you're working on yourself? It means, okay, you're by yourself. You're not actually actively going out looking. What does that mean? Because what happens is, don't forget, when you go, the true test of what you've been through and your healing is when you go into another relationship as well.
How you come back.
Do you understand what I mean?
How you come back.
And if you come back like making that guy paying for the last man's sins, that's a problem. And there's little things. Yeah, exactly. When you're defensive, when you're so defensive, the man can't even go through, you know, just simple basic things. Then what you've done is you just locked yourself off. You didn't heal. You didn't do anything. So sometimes I'm saying it because I've done all that. You know, and I'm not saying you don't need time to be apart, but everything is in measurements. You have to measure it, and then you have to test it. Do you understand? Exactly. When you have to measure it, and then because if you don't test it, all you've done, okay, I've been working on myself. I'm healing. I've been single for 10 years. Doing what? What are you doing? Kilo day, 10 years. What are you doing? You know.
That is the highlight. That's the highlight of the show. That is it. It's true. It's so true. It's just talk. It's to say something nice so you don't sound stupid or you don't look stupid. But you know what? You have to walk and go and live with your stupid self.
Yeah.
Because deep down, you know, you're not doing nothing.
You're not even doing counseling. You're not even talking to your pastor. You're not doing anything. You're not doing anything. You're most of the time, we're just like, oh, you know, I mean, and then in that time, you get used to being by yourself. Do you understand? You find other ways to occupy yourself, and you're forgetting that, you know, when you go out into a and that's why when some women go back into a relationship, they'll be like, oh, I thought I'd work through my issues. I thought this wasn't. No, you didn't walk through it. You just stayed by yourself. That's what you did. You only just stayed by yourself, you know. And there was another point you made, and I really need to make this point. Somebody asked the question about, well, why is it that, you know, it's like you're not fulfilled until you're in a relationship or something like that. And it's not that. I think people need to understand. It's just like now, when I was, I knew I wasn't going to have children out of marriage. That was me. If it was a choice of having children out of marriage, I'd rather just not have kids.
Yeah.
So I was happy to foster and adopt and all those kind of stuff. I was going to do that. So, and I truly believe you can be a parent and be a good parent without necessarily giving birth. And having your own child. I 100% believe that. However, you know, and as a mother, somebody that's giving birth, having your own child, the fulfillment you have from giving birth is different. Yeah, I can say that now because I've got a child. Yeah. Before that, all I knew was I know I could give a child a good home. I know I can make a child happy and all of that kind of stuff. But aside from that, but when you now balance it with having your own kids, it's completely different. So when we talk about relationship, being in a relationship, it's not that you can't be happy by yourself, you know, but it's just when you're in a relationship and you're in a good relationship, there's a way you can still be yourself, be who you are, have a balanced situation, and still be happy and still be able to enjoy the best of both worlds. You know, even though you did make a point that sometimes it can be frustrating when you're like, I remember those single days. You know,
but it happens on both sides. Yeah. It happens on both sides. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So. And I love the fact that you keep going deep in this conversation, Kojo, especially the way you're talking. I think it's important that you, being a guy, there's a way you're delivering this message that it's really hitting home. you know, and I think you're making some points. Yesterday I was doing praise and worship as you were talking. I was like, yes, yes, yes. I said, yes, yes. Holy Ghost fire, Holy Ghost fire, 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 fire.
Do you know what it is? I think me and you are quite similar in we're very direct, and we also probably lie to ourselves, so we know when other people are doing it.
Thank you.
We know when other people are doing it. We know when you're just saying the nice thing, and
you
then
can't
you go
keep
home,
the kid out.
and you're crying. You're crying at home, but you're a soldier on the street. And ultimately, we want you to be happy, a soldier at home,
100%,
and do whatever you want on the street. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Don't lie to yourself, and that's all I don't want people to do.
Yeah.
You know, no excuses. Stop making up these poor excuses. You know, it starts from saying, "I'm gonna go to the gym on Monday," like the gym's not open today. You know, when people say that, or they're gonna start something on Monday, I already know the type of person that they are.
Exactly.
They're not
Exactly.
serious.
Yes. Yes.
They're not serious.
100%. 100%.
You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So, anyway, let's keep it moving.
Yeah.
Let's
Love
see
you.
what people have to say.
Okay.
I love you so much, man. God bless you, Asia.
You too. Bye.
Okay, bye. My friend, yeah. That's my friend. Yes. Beam, 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 beam. Emiliano, I'm coming to you soon. David, I'm coming to you soon. She builds in the building. How you doing, my brother?
Yo, what's good?
I'm chilling. You cool? Hello?
Yo, Kojo.
Yo.
What's good, man?
Talk to me, King. What's going on? Can you hear me?
You hear me?
Can you hear me?
Hold on. Yeah. Alright, man. You got me.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I'm just hearing the conversations, like...
Can you hear me now, yeah?
Yo.
Yes, it's a bit delayed. Hey,
hear me?
hang up and call me back. Hang up and call me back.
Alright, cool. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. But it's
Alright,
delayed.
cool. Yeah, I know.
Go on. No. Say what you're saying. Talk to me.
Yeah, man. So, like, I'll be reading the comments on there, like, about the relationships and everything. Now, Kojo, you know me. Yeah. I've been in the entertainment business for years. And I don't know where certain girls get this position like people in the music industry or DJs or this and that. Yeah. Like all DJs are players. They got bare gal with them. And all I gotta say is that it's not actually true. You get me? Yeah, the DJs nowadays, they've got them, I don't know, they've got them girls that whatever, but when it comes to the old school ones, they don't. Like for me, I'm a sucker. I'm not even gonna lie. Yo, Cole.
Yo, you're freezing, bro.
Kojo.
Yeah.
What the bumble was?
Can you hear me?
Yo, Cole. Yeah, so. Well.
Ace.
Huh?
Ace.
I thought. This thing's gonna mad. Well, I will question you back. Because this thing's going mad.
You know when I write the topic down, can everyone see the topic? Can everybody see the topic? Please tell me you can see the topic. I don't know why people come on there and start talking about something completely different. I don't know if they're in the right room. I don't know if they're supposed to be talking to Kojo Funds. But right now, we are talking about, are you happiest in a relationship or being single? Man telling me about DJs and everyone talking about DJs or players. Am I facing the right way? Hold on. Hello? Hey. Ace, the question is at the bottom, homie.
Hey, how you doing, Kojo? You right, yeah?
Yes, David. What's going on, my G?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Man, you got the Clark Kent on today. You got the Clark Kent on today.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. Nah, do you know, in regards to the question, yeah, I was definitely...
The question. Yeah, the question.
Yeah, nah, I was definitely happier in a relationship because I've been married for coming up to 10 years in November.
Amen.
Yeah, and I think what really brought happiness was because at the start things was not really going according to plan. You know, once like the honeymoon season's kind of over, do you know what I mean? Getting on each other's nerves, arguing.
Yeah.
You know, she pop out the first child and then the baby gets in the way and all the attention goes to the child and all that kind of stuff. And just really going through those different like debates or do you not take out the bin now, man's tired. What, why are you not taking it out? You know, this goes back to what your mum said, and she kind of throws out random stuff from last week Thursday. We kind of forgotten about it.
Women cannot wait to bring your mum into it. Like, oh,
do you know what I mean?
God.
Yeah, so then what really brought a lot of joy and happiness was when I stopped comparing my relationship to other people's relationships, or I stopped listening to my friends, and my friend will come into the house and be like, yo, she just came in, fam. What? She don't give you no kiss, bruv. I wouldn't have it, bruv. Nah, bruv. Like, if that was my wifey, yeah? Do you know what I mean? I kind of took, because you have your tolerance and what you think is cool or normal, where other people have their tolerance. Do you know what I mean?
You know, just to stop you there and just to touch on that, we spoke about that in the podcast, yeah? We spoke about it on the latest episode, right? And we spoke about so many people bring what they think a relationship and their rules of what a relationship is to you, yeah. But your relationship, you got your own rules and you got your own wants and your own happiness or unhappiness looks how it is based on how you lot are in your own thing. So and I've been caught the same. I've been caught the same. Of, you know, you see someone's relationship and you tell people what you ain't gonna have or whatever. But you know what I don't see? I don't see all the good stuff that she does for you as to why you still there, as to why you tolerate certain things, as to why you let certain things go. Because people jump out the window and they just see the negative highlights and they start telling you what you should do and what you shouldn't do and all the other stuff. But they've never, you know, but one of the key factors that we spoke about in the podcast was, how are you speaking about her to your friend? Because if every time you're speaking to your friend about your woman, it's negative, he can only come to you and go, bro, based on everything that you told me, why are you still here? And a lot of us in relationships, if we're honest, women too, if we're honest, most of the time when we're talking about a partner, it's negative. So our friends realistically rush to, bro, why are you still with him? Why are you still with her? Leave it. Based on the highlights that we're sending to our friend. Most of us don't have nothing nice to say. And I'm not talking about the first year of your relationship where you're still, you know what I mean, wearing the same color clothes and all that bullshit, yeah? When you start going back to your own colors, yeah? That's when it gets real, yeah? So how much how much of what you were saying to your friends impacted his reaction to your relationship?
Because it's one of the ones, you know, when you're in a group of friends, yeah, and then like everyone's like saying like, oh yeah, man, what? Man ain't done the dishes for time since I got married. I'm like, what? Well, I do the dishes all the time. Then everyone starts laughing. What, bruv? Man's the housewife. What dishes? Yeah, how's man doing dishes, blood? That's for the woman. Man goes to work and brings the bacon.
Talking like that. The fact that they even speak like that, blood. You can't listen to them. They're trying to write their next single talking like that, blood. You get me?
Yeah. So it's like you have to kind of put yourself in that space where, you know, you're like, okay, cool. It's like even with girls as well. Even when I talk to girls, and certain girls have been like, do you know what? I really loved him. So when he cheated on me, I took him back and accepted him back because he was sorry, blah, blah, blah. Some girls would be like, what? As soon as they, you know, they show you their true self, drop them. As soon as someone cheats, that's it. It's over. They're not having no bar of it.
Your friend, you know who your friend sounds like? The snake in the Garden of Eden, blood.
Yeah.
That's how your friend took. Man can bust the apple, blood. Are you mad? Go eat the apple, cuz you're gonna be lit, cuz. That's how your friends sound. They sound like they are everything about ruining your relationship. Because at the end of the day, the only person that is allowed to ruin your relationship is you and your wife, bro. No one else. No one else is allowed to ruin your relationship. Nobody, apart from you two. Yeah. So when people start being loud and all of that stuff, and I know you're level-headed anyway, and you've got a lot of common sense, so it might be something where you're listening to it, but it doesn't really have impact on you. Because at the end of the day, you're still with your wife. But we have to know how to deal with these serpents, bro. Because that's what I call them, serpents.
That's
because
true.
Regardless of what you said to them, you've got to be able to be like, you know what, this energy isn't even helping my natural way of thinking. You know, I'm still here for a reason. I'm still here for a reason because I want to work things out. You see what I'm trying to say?
And I think like one of the annoying things as well is like when you have like single friends trying to give you advice when you're in a relationship, when you're married, and it's like some single people just say it with their chest like they are the deepest philosopher on relationship and marriage. I'm like, and it's weird when I'm telling people, look, marriage, it's not like that. You cannot really, if you want to survive a marriage, like a deep, last-long relationship, you cannot all the time think about what you're getting from it. You need to think about what can I give. Do you know what I mean? Or you need to think about, do you know what? Let me make sure that I play my role properly in this marriage. Do you know what I mean? So at least, especially like being like a Christian, and I know that, you know, because I'm a priest, I know that I'll be judged harder by God and stuff. I have to live up to a high standard. But the thing is this, like one thing that, there are two things really. The first thing that God really spoke to me about in regards to relationships is, you know what? Stop worrying about what she's not doing right and what she's not doing, because I'm not going to be judged for what she did. I'm only going to be judged for what I've done. Do you know what I mean? So I need to make sure, you know what I mean? So as long as I make sure that I am doing what I have to do to make things work, however, whatever decision she wants to make in the future is down to her. And the next thing is that I never forget, I'm a debater. I can argue and argue until kingdom come, So I remember when we first got married, every conversation that we would have and I did not agree with, I'd be like, nah, that's wrong because X, Y, Z, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, to the point where it should go away like feeling like insignificant or feeling stupid. And then one thing that God said to me, he was like, David, sometimes you need to lose the battle so that you can win the war. Do you know what I mean?
How many times have I said that? I've said that so many times about people that love to fight and they're going to be fighting every day. There's wars out here that you can save your energy for. But some people just like to fight. And if you like to fight, you're going to be fighting every day.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like when you have a battle with your partner, really the war is against you guys staying together. But those little battles you guys have between each other, sometimes you just need to say, do you know what? Even though as guys, when you know that you're right, when you know that you're right, sometimes, in my marriage, I've just had to say, do you know what, babes? All right, cool. Let's just agree to disagree. Or sometimes I'll be like, okay, nah, I see where you're coming. I'll just let it go. And sometimes you need to allow people. Certain people are not even ready to see your side or ready to see things from that point of view. You kind of have to just let them grow. And then if they come around to it later on, or there's certain decisions or certain mindsets or certain conversations that you can't have with your partner, it has to be between you and God. You know, there's been times like I think I felt most happy in my relationship and in my marriage when I just was like, I was less selfish. So I was less focusing on what I can get out of her. She needs to fulfill my needs here. She needs to be supporting me when I'm going on TV. She needs to be recording it and clapping the loudest and all that kind. She needs to be at church and singing in the choir. Why am I getting Fumileyo and Olu to sing leads? She needs to be. She's the vicar's wife. She needs to be singing leads. You know what I mean? Instead of me just saying, let her just be her, let her blossom like a flower, rather than me trying to always do pruning. You know, like some people think, I'm pruning the flower blood so it can grow better. But you're killing it. Do you know what I mean? You're chopping too much, chopping and changing. Just allow people to flourish, people to grow and stuff like that. And yeah, man. But it's interesting because I've been married coming up to 10 years. You know, I've seen people like, I know someone who was married, they recently got divorced. You know, he was saying that how he feels a lot happier because, you know, he's free and all that kind of stuff. You know, no one, you know, he doesn't worry about someone looking at his phone or misconstruing things. But then when I went to visit him, he just didn't want me to leave, bruv. Do you know what I mean? You know, you know, man's carrying on the conversation like, bruv, it's getting to midnight, bruv. I've got a wife to get home to, bruv. He's like, no, one more game of FIFA, yeah? FIFA again, blood. I'm like, bruv, you lost about 8 times now, bruv. Come on, I need to go home.
Oh, that's powerful.
Is it?
You know what? Yeah, I would say even myself, yeah. Like, obviously, I was engaged, yeah, and even myself, like, I feel like genuinely like I'm the happiest, but I don't feel like I'm in the happiest position in terms of like relationship wise. This shit I'm trying to say, because for me, I'm a relationship person. I prefer to be in a relationship, but I also know that I have to go through the process, and that's what we're talking about. We've got to go through the process of healing and getting yourself back to your whole self again. You know, Mark mentioned something about entertainers and that, you know, when you become single, it's crazy how the whole world opens up to you. Yeah, from a work perspective. But at 40 years old, there's not much that I haven't done that I need to do. Do you see what I'm trying to say? There's stuff that I've still got to do within my personal life, within personal self-development, and continue to grow. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And I've not come out of a relationship and been like, man, you know what, like, what's the point, and all the other stuff. It's just made me tick the boxes of what was great, extra stuff about me that was bad, and tick the stuff that was good about me, and then use those lessons and, you know, be better and do better and receive better. See, that's what it is, because, you know, like, there's no like, this person was bad or that person was bad. It's just that I will always walk through this journey of life as me. I'm never going to be anybody else. Do you know what I mean? And I think the whole process of that is to be always improve. I don't care how slow it is. I don't care how long it takes. Just as long as you're moving forward, that's what you can ask for. You see what I'm trying to say? So it's been a good topic, man, and we'll just see what everyone else has got to say. But Dave, thanks for coming on as always, brother, man. Yeah?
No problem, man. Yeah. Did you ever feel like, you know, I need to, did you kind of feel the pressure people wanted you to kind of get back with Tiff and stuff, but you just knew, you know, what is good for me is actually where I am right now?
No. I mean, you know, for me, it's you know, I always walk in, you know, what I encourage other people to do. You know, if you don't love yourself, you cannot expect anyone else to love you. And I love me, and I like the version of me that sits and stands in front of you today and in front of everyone. And I like who I am. It's taken me 40 years to get to a place where I like who I am. When my autobiography comes out, everybody will think I'm a lunatic for being as positive as I am and as encouraging as I am, based on everything that I've had to deal with. But it's taken me a long time to get to a place where I like me. I like me. I like the good things about me. I like the bad things about me, because you know what? It's me. So with that being said, I've also got to allow people to understand that I'm not in my relationship for you. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I like that.
Some people don't know the line. They don't know the line. They ask me about my relationship as if they were coming to the wedding.
Come on.
Do you know what I mean? As if they know where I live.
Come on.
Like, they don't know none of this stuff. You see what I'm trying to say? So for me, it's one thing I've always sat on and has always worked for me is I will always make sense in time. Not on your time, in time. So I don't have to answer to nobody that I don't know. When people keep coming up there asking me questions, I don't know you. You know, and some people just don't respect the line. So for me, the fact that you don't respect the line, I can't even respect you with a response.
Yeah.
You see what I'm trying to say? So do I feel pressure? No, I don't feel no pressure. I think I would have felt pressure if I was a YouTuber and I had a YouTube relationship. My relationship was real. I went through real emotional things.
Deep.
Yeah, anybody that knows me knows that I don't put myself out there. So for me to do that was because I believed that was it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm trying to say? But it don't take it anything away from Tiffany. She's an amazing woman. And she taught me so much, things that I didn't even know how to do before. We now have an amazing son. Do you know what I mean? So for us, it's like, it hasn't worked out. But what has to be there, the bare minimum is ultimate respect at all times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for me, I can go to bed at night knowing that I respect her and she respects me, and no one else has got to like that. I don't care. I haven't dated everybody else.
That was inspiring, bruv. Yeah.
That's it.
I really felt like God wanted me to ask you that before I left, because that really inspired me, what you said.
God,
you know what I mean?
He already knows. So.
Yeah.
So ask
that inspired me still.
All right, take care, man.
All right, man. Yeah. God bless, man. Right, cool.
Mina, I'm coming to you shortly. We got 17 minutes.
Yo.
Bro, I thought you was James Harden.
Do you know what, yeah? I have to just rush home from a run. I went for a run, and I said, what? I looked at the car, I said, no, fam. Do you know what? I just have to rush home. So now I'm 9 o'clock.
I love how your bottom half, everything down, looks like, regular clothes, and then that's the only part that looks like you went for a run.
You know, that just to stop the sweat, because I sweat a lot, so I'm representing. You get me? Yeah. You got me, man came on, and you wasn't even there. I said, well, I could have just add extra mile to my run, man. Come on. I have to message Brie. I said, where's Kojo, like?
No, I always do that just to make sure that everything's set up. Do you know what I mean? I'm good. Right. What's going on, B?
Not much, man. Boy,
so what you say? When were you happiest? When you were single and everything was popping, flying, or happy in a relationship?
Do you know what? I'm just gonna I was single for a while, yeah. I'll say I was happy, but you see what the other guy said. The pastor said, like, friends, like, because one of my friends that was married, my guy will come to my house after work to chill with me. He doesn't want to go home. And I said, because no, bro, you don't want to get married, man. Because, boy, when I go home, so he will come from work, come chill with me for about 11 o'clock and go home. And you know, like a lot of my friends that are married, for instance, when we're doing a big show, yeah, and like we got the artists coming from Ghana, and we have to pick them up. The ones that married now, Emilio's not married, or he's not doing school run. He can do the school run, and so I didn't enjoy it. Do you understand what I'm saying? I didn't enjoy it because I'm always having to do stuff that they cannot do because they are married and living with kids. And I used to say to them, like, do you know what? You go home to your wife. Sometimes, bruv, I'll be sitting here watching program and I'll be laughing to myself like I'm a dickhead. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, like, when I was single, like, it was all right. Do you understand? It was all right. But I got into a relationship and I'm happy. I'm happy. And you know, at the same time, like, because you know, I've been going to Ghana for Christmas since 20 years ago. So I was going to Ghana Christmas and said, yeah, my missus is coming. And people said, what? You taking your girl to Ghana Christmas? Kojo, you know. People that know about Ghana Christmas know what I'm talking about, innit? You know. Kept asking me, like, you taking your girl to Ghana Christmas? Like, what are you thinking? So, bruv, like, we've already traveled, like.
No, but that's not even the answer. The answer is, I can take my girl to Ghana. You can't.
That's what I'm saying.
Because you ain't with the right person. I'm with the right person. So I can take my woman anywhere because I'm with the right person. And you know what it is? That's further evidence of what the world is like and what's out there. There's a lot of people that will say things like that. It's like, fam, you can't bring her blood. Because they're not happy. When you've got someone like that, bro, that you will take to Ghana, it just shows the level of your relationship. That's all.
And the reason why I knew I could take her to Ghana and everything would be okay because we traveled, like, we went on 2 trips prior to Ghana, and both trips was amazing. No argument, no nothing. But you know, like they said, like, you don't know someone till you live with them, travel with them, or you lend them money.
Oh, fam, come on, listen, ladies. I mean, man, them it happens to you now and then, but ladies, you don't know. You had friends for 16 years, yeah? 16 years. You went Miami, Cancun, Ibiza, Ayanapa. Yeah, you went there. Come back, and you're like, my gosh, that girl's nasty.
Seriously, girls
she
go
don't
on
change
holiday.
their clothes. She don't shower. Hey, ain't nothing like you right. Ain't nothing like a holiday to show you. You don't know someone until you live with them. Like that is the truth. Even if you're in a relationship, yeah, do not propose. I always say, do not propose to nobody you do not live with. Hey, please, I'm telling you, don't do it because you have to know them. You have to know them. Like, listen, I didn't want to go too deep into my shit, but it's so important. You don't know no one until you live with them. I'm telling you, that's why the marriage divorce rate is so high. Yeah, but when you live together for a year and you know each other, then you can make a real decision.
100%.
But we're both doing this guessing. We're guessing and we're hoping and we're praying and all this other stuff. Yeah, listen. You don't know what it feels like to put your name on the orange juice in the fridge, and when you come back, it's finished. And the orange juice is still there, but it's finished.
I'm telling you, like, and I think the reason I'm happy in this relationship because, Kojo, all the mistakes I made from my previous relationship, yeah, I've corrected it, and I didn't bring it into this relationship.
Wicked.
And the good thing about it, she's easy. You understand? She's open-minded. She can adjust to the environment. And you know what? And I was so happy, like, you know what? If anybody told me, like, going to Ghana, I knew why I was going to Ghana because I was going to propose in it. So, man, when people were talking, I said, you don't know. Shut up, man. You know what I got under my sleeve.
Come on.
You know what under my sleeve. So, in Ghana, you know, you didn't even see me.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't really go at too tough because, you know, I was trying to iron, like, you know, make sure it's nice.
Everything's, yeah.
Yeah,
so, hold on. Did you propose in December just now?
Come on, man. I went on my knees, man. I took a knee, bro. I'm telling you, yeah, like...
Congratulations, bro.
When you find the right one, I've been in a relationship that I've been happy. I've been in a relationship that I'm unhappy. But this one right here is different. And I remember my mom said to me that when you find the right one, my mom said to me, when you find the right one, no one will tell you. You will know. You find yourself doing stuff that you didn't think that you would do.
And that's the feeling, man. That's the feeling, you know. And listen, some of us have had that feeling with people before, and we thought that was it, and then it didn't end up being it. And I would like to say to those people, like, continue to want to feel like that. You know what I mean? Like, continue to want to feel like that. Nothing's by mistake. Everything is part of the journey. So don't be thinking like, oh my, I had such an amazing relationship, and it was so beautiful, and blah blah blah, but then it failed. And am I going to see that kind of energy again? Yes, you will. Do you know why? Do you know how I know you will? You will, because if you demand that you will, and if you act accordingly to receive that. See, it's all about your words and what you put out into the world and your behavior behind your words. Yeah? Because if you're just throwing words out there, bro, you're just throwing them out there, they might not hit. But it's the behavior of what's behind your words and your action. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Because some people feel like they've met their soulmate already. Do you see what I'm trying to say? But you don't know. You don't know. And that's what the beauty of life is, not knowing. If we knew everything about life, it would be a scary place. If you knew the day you was going to die, you would not live. You wouldn't live. You wouldn't spend it living because you'd be afraid of that day coming. You see what I'm trying to say? So it's important that when you find what you got like you have, you got to go straight for that moment and pray as much as you can over your relationship and make sure that it lasts as long as it can, because we are all going out the same door, bro.
And you know what? Yeah, we still learning. We're still getting to know each other. We're still trying to make it work. But one thing I've developed and I'm practicing it that it's really good. I'll tell any guy or any woman out here, like, we don't argue, but when we have a disagreement, I don't go to sleep. I make sure I sort it out because I used to be so stubborn. And you know, when you leave it tomorrow, A day after, 1 week, it gets harder.
Yeah.
Bruv, I'm telling you. So that's one thing I've always said to myself from now on, like, when we have a disagreement, like, I'll make sure I'll address it before I go to sleep. I don't go to sleep without not making sure we are good.
Brother, you just spat some knowledge today for the people, man. Yeah?
We're all learning out here, bro. Yeah. I'm telling you, we're all learning out here.
No, it's true. It's true.
I have to rush from 9 o'clock to come on here because I'm telling you, man. Look, I don't care. Someone can just say, yeah, I know everything. You don't. So you come on this show. I'm telling you.
Come on. And you will learn, innit? You will learn.
You don't know nothing till you come on this show. Trust me. It's all about life. It's all about learning. We learn every day. And coming on this show, I've been learning every day. You understand? From other people.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, bro. That's what it's all about. And I salute you, man. I salute you.
No, thank you very much.
And you'll see me every night out here.
Yeah, I know, bro.
Trust me. Yeah.
All right, brother, love, man. Thank you.
No
so
problem.
Much. All right, King, later. That's dope, man. That's amazing. See, ladies? See? We're not all pricks. Man like M's out here doing the grown man thing. Yeah. One of my podcast brothers is in the building. Come on. Samina, come to you next.
Yo.
Jeez.
What you saying, player?
Talk to me, Nate. What you saying, G?
Bro. Yeah, I'm all right, man. Obviously,
I've been listening, how you feeling,
man.
About the podcast? What's the reaction been like?
Yo, it's been crazy. Listen. Yo, the stir up is mad, man. Because obviously everyone's got different views, and it's mad.
It was good. I think that was obviously we've done 2 episodes so far, and that was the second. That was the second one. It was sick, man. Do you know what I mean? And I think we got even more, and we got to get deeper as well. Because someone said the first one's about sex, and the second one's about dating. Like, but don't worry, we're coming with the other stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's every week. So guys, don't forget the rap party. Yeah, podcast is all over my socials. Check it out, man, and let me know what you lot think. Nathan, what you lot say? What are you saying in terms of like, when have you been happiest, single or in a relationship?
Bro, yeah, this it's a mad topic, you know, because I had to really dig in the archive for the answers. But I want to start by saying, like, yo, you know, like, I'm in my 20s right now, and these are like these are important years to build. You know what I'm saying? And with that, you're restricted with a lot of time, and like being in a relationship, to be happy, you have to be making the other person happy, but you can't do that if you can't give them that time or give them what they want, you know. And like digging back from previous experiences, like when I lived with my ex for 3 years, we used to do things like we used to watch movies together, have movie night. You know what I'm saying? That was cool. We used to work together, have our drinks. You know what I mean? Go on holidays, and like that was fun because we were happy at the time. However, there's that thing called the guilt behind the happiness. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're the type of person that is constantly chasing results, you're gonna always have that guilt at the back of your mind when you're spending a lot of time in that happy bubble. You know what I'm saying? So with that guilt behind happiness, when that gets into your conscience, like it's almost like a reaction mechanism that just triggers, and then you turn into that person that may be cancelling, maybe start cancelling a lot of plans or making promises, and sometimes the promise don't come to fruition. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and, that sounds like me, bro. Nah, man. You know what? It's such a bro. That's deep, man. That sounds like me, because I get told that even something small. Like, I've had people cuss me out, man. Like, it's simple as that. You said he's gonna text me, like he didn't text me back. You said he's gonna call me. We're supposed to watch this movie, but he didn't. Like, all of that stuff is just because, again, like, you're trying to focus on your thing.
The results.
Yeah, and I think as men, that's our motive. Our motive is if we get the results, everything else is cool. And that's what we're talking about in our podcast about the first thing a man wants to achieve is security. As a man, then everything, woman, all the other stuff come after.
Exactly.
Us, we want to achieve security first, because we think he's gonna want to be with us if we ain't got security.
Exactly.
And sometimes the woman is sacrificed because of the security, but then you get the security, then you try to pull out the flashlight now and look for look for somebody and you can't find it.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
So are you saying like single or relationship you was happy?
That's what I'm saying.
So far.
Like the thing with being in it's the guilt behind the happiness that's the maddest part. But I think it's all subject to are you happy with like like your structure? Because everyone's got a different structure. Everyone's got a different procedure of how they want their life to be or how they've mapped it out from young. Do you know what I mean? So if you're not in that place, where you feel like you can provide all of those other things surrounding, then you're not gonna be happy if that's what drives you. You know what I mean? Like I'm single right now, yeah, and with that I feel I'm the most happiest at the moment because ever since I've been single, I've been able to excel in loads of other areas at a more rapid rate, only because I'm not distributing so much time and effort to somebody else. But
yeah, that's what Mark was saying.
Yeah,
that's what Mark was saying. And if I'm honest, that's how I feel at the moment. Yeah, I feel like now I'm in this space now. Unfortunately, like it's like I'm just very aggressive again on social media, and I'm very aggressive again on doing sketches, and I've got more time to do X, Y, and Z. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But none of those are going to be more important than raising my son. Do you see what I'm trying to say? But I've got more of a time to balance now because I've got him, and when I've got him, and then other times I just get, you know, the motivation back to go and do X, Y, and Z. And the ultimate thing is but for me, I'm going to be honest and say I want to be able to do all of that when I'm in a relationship, and that's when I will know that I'm in a good relationship because I won't feel like everything is opening up for me because I'm single.
Yes, but this is the thing, because a lot of people, they say, oh Nathan, that you're gonna meet someone that's gonna be able to push you in doing what you're doing, or find somebody who has exactly the same amount of drive that you are just gonna gel together and just achieve amazing results. But coach, how long have I been waiting for this? Like, bro, we gotta go back. A fairy tale story, or
bro? I think all the good things are on MySpace, blood. We gotta go back there. We got to go back to 2002, blood. We got to go back, blood. This Instagram thing is too much, blood. Do you know what I think hell looks like? Do you know what I think hell looks like, blood? Instagram, blood. I think everyone in hell is Chris. That's what I think. I think everyone in hell has got fake tits, lip fillers, that filler. I think everyone in hell looks Chris, blood.
That's where the temptation is gonna be the most mad.
Fam,
you know what I mean?
You're gonna be chatting to one thing while you're burning up, blood. You're gonna be chatting to one thing. Like, you'll be like, it's hot. Yeah, man, they're gonna have no drinks, blood. They're gonna have no drinks in hell either. So now you're gonna be burning up, can't even get a juice, blood. But you're next to one Christian, blood. What? Yes, man. Hey, but listen, thanks for coming on, King. As always.
Every time, Coach, man. We catch up, man. Blessings, man. Love family. Come on.
Big up man like Nathan. Yes. Yes, people. You know what it is? Yes. The Insta Live debate show. All right, we've got a few more people on the line. Let's go. Faith, I'm coming to you next. Ladies and gentlemen, it's one of your favorites. Make some noise. She's got her shisha on. The guys love her. They slide into my DMs to find out who she is.
They didn't slide into my DMs.
Because you blocked them, that's why. You blocked them, that's why. Hey, they say DMs are full. No more space. Yes?
Please, no, they don't.
Please send a request. Hey, Free Man hit me up yesterday. Free Man.
Serious?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, guys. Hello. Hi, I'm single. I'm joking.
That's her name. I'm single. Samina, what are you saying?
This question's actually...
Hold on. What's that about?
No, do you know what it is, yeah? When I think about this question, I feel like it's like your happy is in both. It really does depend on who you are. I don't feel like you can be fully happy in a relationship if you're not happy being by yourself. And I don't think, and to lie and say I'm happy being by myself is as if to say like you came into the world alone. Do you get what I mean? At the end of the day, people need people. So you kind of have to understand that the world exists because we are built to be with each other. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, so you exist because we exist because somebody got together with somebody.
Exactly.
Thank God they weren't thinking like, they weren't too cute to be with somebody.
What do you mean? No, but for real, like I always say, I had a conversation yesterday with a friend who's currently in a relationship, and her situation's not as great as she would like it to be. And obviously, me being a single friend, I have to take a step back and not be like, oh, you should leave him, because I think at my age now, turning 30, relationships nowadays are very different to your 20-year-old relationships, like where it's like drop him, move on to the next one. So for me, it was just like, you need to at least find who you are and find happiness within yourself so you can support that relationship as a separate entity. I don't think that a relationship should embody everything that you are and swallow you up whole, because that's when you lose yourself. You are not happy. You're so invested in this other person that you forget you in that. Like, it takes two people to procreate, create a foundation, to build a family, and so on and so forth. So ultimately, have you done the work for yourself in order to build in this relationship? And I think a lot of people have this idea that, this is why I like Rachel's point in the sense where it's like, I wanted to invest in myself, become this person, so that if I do find myself in the future in a relationship, I know who I am. I am happy by myself. And very similar.
You can walk away with yourself. That's the thing, because not many people get to, when the relationship ends, they don't get to walk away with themselves. They feel, because they feel like they put everything into you, and now they feel like they've lost themselves within you. But that's not the other person's fault. Because guess what? The other person ain't lost themselves.
Exactly. And this is the thing. One thing that I realized, like, obviously, I always talk about this one relationship because it's the only relationship I've been in. But during that period of time, the first half of it, I realized that I was building myself in this individual. And that can be suffocating for anybody. Like, even if you envision yourself building yourself in that person, everything that they do becomes your life. That's suffocating for them. So in essence, it's like I had a fault to play in sort of like how the relationship shifted at some point. Now, fast forward, when I found out who I was, and I became a much stronger individual in what I wanted to do for myself, I was able to give a healthy part of me. And it was like, even when the relationship ended, I can still look back and say there were so many happy moments. Like, I was truly, genuinely happy a lot of the time during that relationship. It didn't end well, so what? It happens. But I didn't lose myself, and I didn't feel like, I felt lost for a little bit, let me not lie. When it happened, I was like, God damn.
That's natural. Yeah.
But after that, like, you really deep and you're like, but I'm amazing. Like, I've got my shit together. I've done so well for myself. Like, really, what did I lose? This person, if anything, lost me, because I know what I had to offer. And that was it. Obviously, you know. But for real. So I feel like the question is difficult because you can be happy in both. Truly happy, a true happiness comes from within. And once you are happy within yourself, then your relationship is going to be, I think, the pinnacle of happiness, when you're able to share your true version with somebody else and they truly love you for who you are. But find your happiness within you first. Like, don't rush into it thinking that just being with a man or being with a woman is going to make your world make sense. Because, babes, if it done dead, you gonna die with it. Do you see what I'm saying? And we don't want you to die. We want you to live. We want you to be happy. You know what I mean?
Unless you are a bastard.
Unless you are a witch and wizard, because there's loads of them. These witches and wizards that just be sliding into the DMs and not follow through. Follow through, okay? Say with your chest, darling. Say it with your chest.
Hey! Samina, love you, babe.
Love you guys.
Thank you for coming on. Bye.
Always.
The homie. But you didn't know me. Jay.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. You?
I'm okay.
So yeah. Anyways, back to the question.
Talk to me.
So yes, I'm single. And have been single for a while. And it's a case of looking back. I feel yes, there's been times when I've been really happy within the relationship, but where I am now, I feel currently I am at my happy place.
Happiest, yeah.
However,
Why?
I know that
Why?
there's a level to come when I will be with the one who's right for me.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's a case of there's been an element of growth.
Good.
Within me. Obviously, I've focused on finding happiness within myself, and improving the self-worth that I have within myself, self-love, everything about that, and developing other things about myself, characteristics wise as well. And so yeah, I feel that's really important for anyone to do.
My question to you. Okay, go on, continue.
Oh, so yeah, the aim is basically for me to be a whole person, to be stronger within myself, and to be able to really just build the next time I'm in a relationship, and to, if it does fail, to not lose myself, but to be very solid within myself, and I will be happy regardless whether I'm in a relationship or not. I just know and feel that when I will be in a relationship with the right person, that there'll be another level of happiness that I will be able to attain.
Okay, now my question is, which is kind of, you started stepping into it, is how are you going to make sure, because this is what a lot of people do, they go through a bad relationship, or they go through a relationship, they lose themselves, they go all the way, and they do all the work, and they find themselves again, and then they get caught up in emotions and feelings and all the other stuff, and then they find themselves back again. So my question is,
what am I doing now?
No, not what you do now. The work that you're doing now, does it include making sure and having something in place, so when you go back into a relationship, you don't have to find yourself again, but you can continue to find yourself whilst you're in a relationship, because that is the most important thing. You can't go back into a relationship thinking, okay, I found myself, I'm ready, because we're always finding ourselves. So it's important that your next relationship,
always growing. Exactly.
Yeah, you have to be growing when you're with somebody. Like,
of course.
Just finding yourself thing sounds like we can only do it by ourselves. No,
definitely not.
With the right person,
Yeah, that's not where I'm coming from at all.
No,
I believe
I know you went. I'm just talking to people that might hear what you just said and feel like, you know what, I gotta go away and find myself. Yeah. And then get back into a relationship and lose myself and then find myself again. Like we got to stop regurgitating the same circuit. Yeah, the same routine.
Yeah, I hear you.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So again, like it is a thing where growth can't just be like when you're just single. It has to be while you're in a relationship.
It's a continuous thing.
Every day.
My journey is a continuous thing for me.
Good.
Like, I'm not going to give you a background story, but essentially I've been through a lot in the last 6 years. And so I know a bulk of that would have been extremely hard had I been in a relationship, especially with the wrong person. Like, it would have broken me completely, like, or I would have been torn with my focus. And so I know I'm healing from that, but also as well as a past relationship. But it's a case of, I know what I want and I know what I need to achieve to get to what I want, to fulfill my goals, etc. And so it's a case of, I'm building myself as a person, as well as, doing the necessary steps to attain and fulfill my goals, but be there financially, career-wise, etc., as well as spiritually, and obviously, grow as a amazing woman that I aspire to be, a virtuous woman. So yeah,
man. Listen, I pray over that, and I wish you all the best. I think you know, that season of, you know, just entertaining yourself and finding yourself and learning yourself, and taking all of that hard work and making sure that that hard work is respected by yourself, and you respect all the hard work that you've gone into to get back to this place, right? And then make sure it's respected. Like I always say, the money I earn now, is not because of what I do now. People pay me for 20 years.
Yeah.
That's what people pay me for. They're not paying me because I went to Britain's Got Talent. You're paying me for all of the stuff that I've had to go through to get here. So that's what you're going to respect. So when you get into your relationship, make sure that individual respects the process that got you.
Don't worry, they will.
And if you don't, you give me his number, because you know me, I like to cuss.
Sure will.
All right, Jay. Thanks for coming on, babe. Yeah.
You're welcome. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Coach.
Come up.
Yes, bro.
Legend in the building.
Oh, please. You're the legend. Let's be real.
How you doing, my brother?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. I'm good. Thanks.
You good, yeah?
Yeah.
Talk to me.
How things with you? You good?
Yeah, I'm blessed, man. Thank you for asking. I'm good, man.
Had a little rest and back on.
All right, fam. I'm now in a space with this whole thing where I'm like, man, the worst has to have been past us now. Like now, we're all kind of used to this now, whether we like it or not. And I'm just excited about the potential of what's to come. And that's what I'm holding on to now. What's to come, the potential of what's to come, rather than dwelling on what was. You know what I mean? Like the world ain't going to be the same again. Yeah. And hopefully it's a better version of it than it was before. Do you know what I mean?
For real.
So that's where I'm at, man.
That's good. Yeah, I haven't looked at the podcast yet, but I'm going to.
Come on, and
it looks mad interesting. Well. Yeah. But yeah, let me answer the question quickly. And there ain't gonna be no album. Yeah, it'll be a quick bar. Yeah. Yeah. When you said where it says about where you happiest, either single or in a relationship, I think both. However, I think my most complete happiness was when I'm in a relationship. And what I'll say is, like, when you're single, we all can say when we're single, we've gone out on holidays with the man them or with other people, and the fun and happiness that we get from that can't be taken away. And it's a completely different
type of happiness.
It's a completely type of fun, happiness, enjoyment that you get when you're with a partner.
Yeah.
And I got an example. I went Napa with my missus one time. We went to Pretoria.
You went to Napa with your missus?
We used to ride in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we went Pretoria, just outside, and then we used to drive in. We used to ride into Napa, and I remember we had so much joke. Yeah, we both had quads. Sometimes she wouldn't ride her quad. Sometimes she jump on the back of mine, and we go in and we have a little madness. Because I think it was a case of when you're in a relationship, if you're in a good relationship and you're with someone that understands you and you understand them, you're able to vibe, or you should be able to vibe well with each other.
As friends
As friends, yeah.
People want to turn the boyfriend and girlfriend on, switch on all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they want to, and that's a very good point. People want to turn on the boyfriend and girlfriend switch all the time. And sometimes, man, just be my brethren. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, just be my brethren. Like, you are my girl, but you can be my brethren sometimes as well.
Exactly. And I think if I look at a lot of my relationships that I've had, the best ones have always been the ones where I had that friend. We were good friends as well, you know? And yeah, so for me,
when I look at it, I enjoyed my time with my friends, being single. I had mad love, mad joke, mad enjoyment. But yeah, my best ones were most certainly when I'm looking across and it's my partner that's next to me. Do you know what I mean? And those are the key times I think. I think, you know. So for me anyway, everyone's different. But it's like what other people have already said. You know, you need to be happy with yourself first. You know what I mean? Your relationship needs to be happy. You have to be strong as well. I feel in order to get that
for full happiness together.
Yeah. So I'm not going on a deep one today, Coach.
Guys,
just I thought I could keep it quick,
man. I love your vibe. I love your contributions, bro. You get me? Like, you're mature. You get it. I learn from you, and I appreciate you coming on, man.
Always, brother. You take care, man.
Respect, brother.
All right.
Safe.
Take care, bro. See you soon.
Yeah, man. That's someone that I've met on here. That you know, he's dope, man. Faith. What happened to Faith? Where's Faith at? Ooh, we're slipping into overtime. Ooh, we don't talk to the darkness. Hey. Turn down on them lights. Come on. We don't talk to no darkness. Why are you copying me? It's pink season. Come on. It's pink season. Yay. They're going to start a rumor now, you know. They're going to be like, why is Kojo's girl wearing the same color as him?
Know what they say about great minds and things?
Come on.
Listen, I was listening to what other people been saying. Like, this thing, it's a bit mad. It all depends on what you define as your own happiness.
Yes.
For me, I think there's a difference between happiness and joy. And from the moment...
happiness to what? Happiness?
And joy.
Okay.
So from the moment where you're able to define the two, you'll be able to know whether or not you're happy. Sometimes you can be excited, you're laughing, and you're doing all this kind of thing. That shows that this person is happy. But are they really happy though? That's a whole different story altogether. So I think it's about an internal thing where if you feel content, like the last person that just came up said, obviously he went to INAPA. I was like, but either way, boy, INAPA. I actually, because from what I know of INAPA, a lot of people go there to do all different kinds of things. So
absolutely,
the fact that you went with your missus, that's a very big thing. Like, I big it up to you, like, for real. But at the same time, I just want to say, I think it depends on what you're doing. I think relationship and marriage are two different things. And once you're in a relationship, you can be happy. But at the same time, if you're married, there's a lot more that comes with it than when you're just in a relationship. So when you're married, for me, I think when you're single, you can be wild. You can be so many things, and you don't have any proper commitment that you actually need to give. So you're probably going to find a lot of excitement, a lot of joy, but really and truly, you won't be happy. Because sometimes...
That is real.
Sometimes you go out. I remember when I was younger, I would go out and I'll while out, and everybody will be like, "Oh my God, she's living her best life." But in the morning when that hangover kicks in, and I'm thinking about how much I've spent, and I'm thinking about all the light bill. At the time they appeared to be very, very good, and they appeared to be very, very exciting. Are they really? Question you got to ask yourself. So for me, just to answer your question before I go on, because I can go on, but I'm not going to. I just think that when you're single, you might be happy, but you're married, I think you find more of yourself, and you find like a long-term something, like you've got different goals.
You're building.
You've got different things that you're looking at. Whereas when you're single, it's like you're just looking at whatever. It doesn't really matter what comes with it. Whereas when you're in a relationship, some people, I know it's obviously I'm saying marriage, but then a lot of people now don't actually get married. So for those that think that I'm stereotyping, my bad. I just see somebody commented something about you don't actually have to be married. But at the end of the day, there is a thing about when you're in a relationship that you have to be more committed. So the fun out of it, I think sometimes that it goes out the window. You have to be more serious.
But it's also a different kind of fun as well.
Yeah.
It's cautious fun. Well. It's respectable fun. It's shared fun. You know?
Yeah.
It's shared fun because, you know, like I said, it's always easier to kind of, you know, just keep looking forward. But in a relationship, you've got to look behind you as well, or to the side of you, and make sure that someone else is okay as well. This shit I'm trying to say. So
okay.
I hear what you're saying.
Miss Jane says, well, actually, you can be really happy being single when and if you have found happiness from within. Otherwise, you end up looking for happiness in a relationship. But if you go in a relationship looking for happiness, most of the time, I don't think you actually need to look for it. It's something that should come naturally for me. If you go hunting for it, most likely you're going to find you're going to be forcing it, especially if you're not on the same level with the person that you're in a relationship with.
Interesting. She's reading all these comments, you know.
So nice.
Don't mind the comments. Yeah? Don't mind the comments. Yeah, they'll tell you it's raining outside and it's not raining. How do you pronounce your name?
Latria.
Latria. Lovely to meet you, Latria. Thank you for coming on, yeah?
Kojo, I've been following your show. It's very interesting.
Thank you very much, man. Keep supporting, babe.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Yes. Woo! All right, people. Listen, I'm out of here because I need to have half an hour to myself, and I'll be back at midnight for the request show. I'm already over by half an hour, yeah? So, thank you to everybody that came on today. You know what it is. We are back. Let me tell you tomorrow's topic. Let me tell you tomorrow's topic. I like this. This feels like a real TV show, but it ain't. But it could be, but who knows? Okay. So, God damn it. It's not on this one. Hold on one second. I'm back, people. I'm back. So, this is tomorrow's topic. Would you be happy to start a relationship with someone who says they do not want to have any sexual activity until they are married? Could you start a relationship? Can you go into a relationship with someone who says they don't want no sexual activity until there is marriage? See you guys tomorrow. Peace.